I got no idea what to do in the perioperative setting with chemotherapy. I got, you know, and if this meeting was, you know, 5 years ago, we'd be talking about, well, if they've had FOLFOX, let's give them some FOLFIRI. If they have, you know, this idea that we're going to somehow give adjuvant-y kind of therapy to patients with metastatic disease and metastatectomy, and yet we really don't have any evidence for that adjuvant benefit. I mean, so tell me what I'm supposed to do, Axel. I'll listen, I promise.
So we have some evidence. We have some evidence what not to do. So we have a clear trial, liver resection. So we're not talking about perioperative. We're talking about postoperative therapy. 5FU versus FOLFIRI. FOLFIRI didn't work.
Right.
There's a pooled analysis of 2 European trials of 5FU after liver resection, underpowered for survival. But there was some trend toward, you know, so fluoropyrimidines, not unexpectedly, seem to work in a NED prevention of recurrence setting. Now, the critically used is FOLFOX. You know, perioperative FOLFOX has been kind of the standard of care based on the Nolan-J, the EPOCH, the first EPOCH study, with the emphasis on disease-free survival, progression-free survival, no overall survival benefit. Now, admittedly, if you look at this as a kind of pseudo-adjuvant setting, a 360-patient study is almost impossible to show a survival benefit just statistically. Now, I think right now the standard of care is what's being used is in a chemo-naive patient, you use your perioperative FOLFOX spiel. You know, you shoot for 12 cycles, whether you achieve them or not, based on our adjuvant therapy data. If you had a patient...
Magic 12 cycles.
Magic.
So 12 cycles. I wish we could get away from that.
But
anyway.
we're getting away from that.
Hopefully in a couple of years we'll be down to 6
exactly.
cycles.
We'll have the data of
Yeah.
8702, et cetera.
Magic 12 cycles causes this neuropathy.
But then, so if you had a patient who's pre-treated with adjuvant FOLFOX, for instance, and had recurrence of liver metastasis, what do? So pragmatically, I've seen patients use, physicians use FOLFIRI, you know, and then say if they saw shrinkage, they use FOLFIRI afterwards in the absence of any data, because we all like to do something.
I saw a patient this week, anastomotic recurrence, 2 years after primary, had adjuvant FOLFOX, and the anastomotic recurrence had 8 positive nodes around it. And so, you know, the outside doc says, you know, I feel like I should give some FOLFIRI or something like that. And I'm sitting here talking to this patient, I don't know what to do. I feel like, you know, he's still got neuropathy from his magic 12 cycles from before. So this is a little different than the liver met, but again, I don't know what to do in this patient. Is this a patient we should be giving immunotherapy to?
If it worked.
Yeah, but maybe we'll get there, right?
So participation in a clinical trial is a great idea. But there are so many immunotherapy options. The track record for most of them up to now have been very limited across all diseases. And for colon cancer, we're still waiting for our PD therapy to work.
So we've
totally
got some vaccines,
trial.
we've got some things. So you cooperative groupie people, let's bring something into the maintenance, into this perioperative window. This is a great model to explore around the clock, don't you think?
Yeah, we do think so. That we need partners, unfortunately. There are choices that are being made where these drugs are being deployed, and colorectal cancer is not high on the list, although we're working on it.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We're just one checkpoint away from having things work.
He's been waiting on that one all day.
Cut.
Okay.
John, can I, just
please.
in terms of the perioperative approach, in meeting especially with community physicians, I try to give them permission not to feel that it would be malpractice not to give preoperative FOLFOX to a clearly resectable patient, because you see people with one resectable liver met and they're getting, based on the almost religious experience from EPOCH.
All right. So, and then I kind of am wondering, is this a maintenance thing? Are we not having an adjuvant effect? So should we be treating to progression? So we won't get into that because we don't have time for that discussion. But let's talk about the sort of maintenance window. Axel mentioned it briefly. Is everybody sort of embracing the either CAPE, I hope not pump, but maybe pump, 5FU Bev as sort of a maintenance? And is the doublet the right thing to start with? Is that pretty much everybody's current practice policy? Yes, no?
Yeah, to a great extent, yeah, certainly in the right patients.
Yeah, and I don't follow the dream of Bev plus erlotinib. It's CAPE plus Bev.
No, it is a dream. Okay, another pun.
Okay, so yes, CAPE, Bev, Q3-week Bev, continuous CAPE, just like Cairo-3 did?
That's what I do, but I actually, you know, coming back to tolerability, I give patients option whether they want to carry a pump, and some patients actually tell me
They prefer
5-FU is better tolerated than capecitabine because they switch back and forth.
Well, they're used to it.
Yep, no, but